Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Dare to Be Different. This one, we actually take a deep dive on how to be different and everything that we did to stand out in the industry when we entered weddings and started to film weddings, and that it's actually okay to be different. If anything, we want you to be different. It's all about just following your gut, being confident in your ideas, and believing in who you are. So, let's get into it. So today we wanted to bring the name Dare to Be Different to the forefront.
Oh.
We wanted to explain in more detail than the first episode why we've chosen that name and how you guys can incorporate it into your business.
Yeah, and I guess explain how this phrase has pushed us perhaps beyond what we thought we were even capable of.
Yeah, it's something that's really solidified our should we do this or should we do that? As in, option A is the safe way, option B is it's going to look great, it's going to feel this way, but we're not sure how the couple or the planner is going to react to it.
Yeah.
And so we've always gone for option B and just dared to be different.
And I think for us, it's something that we talk about a lot in the car. Like when we're driving around, driving to weddings, we find ourselves constantly talking about the industry and how there is a lot of people in the industry that offer their opinion as fact sometimes, or at least I think people are taking it at face value of like, that's what I have to be doing. That's what I should be doing. These people aren't telling you what to do. These people are just telling you what they do. And you don't have to take it as gospel. And that goes for us. That goes for me and Jack as well. The way that we do things, the way we film things, the way that Jack does sound, it doesn't mean this is the one and only way to do things. We all need to remember that we are filmmakers. And as filmmakers, we are artists. And all art is subjective. And everyone has their own style and their own tastes and things that they like and that they don't like. There are lots of people in this world that love Lord of the Rings. And there are a lot of people in this world who shouldn't be allowed to watch television who don't like Lord of the Rings. They are not our kind of people. But there are people who love Marvel. There are people who don't like Marvel. There are people that watch telly. There are people who don't watch telly. There are people who love to go into a contemporary art museum and see a red dot on a piece of paper and feel emotion out of it. And other people that go, that's just a red dot on a piece of paper. And we have to remember that is where our field of work sits. And it's easy to forget it when you're a wedding videographer, because when you're part of the wedding industry, we are classed as a service. And so many people, especially couples, will look at us as a service and as a box to be ticked on their to-do list. And we need to remind ourselves we are still artists. And I know a lot of people think, oh, well, that's a really, poncy thing to do. People who see themselves as artists are a bit up themselves. Whether you want to project it outwardly on your social media that you're an artist and not a wedding videographer, that's up to you. But at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're creating art. And if you choose to just tell a story in a documentary fashion, chronological as it is, that's still art. And then people who were doing avant-garde shit with their wedding films, that's art too. We all need to know that we are playing with an art form here. And for art to happen, you have to do it your way. And you have to take in what everyone is saying, learn from the best and the people at the top and the people that are winning awards or getting loads of bookings or charging 20K for a wedding film. Take it all as inspiration, but it is not facts. It isn't the only way that you can be doing things. And that is what we did when we came into this industry. I made a very firm decision to not watch wedding films. I was inspired by wedding films, which is why I picked up the camera and decided to be in this industry. But once I was filming weddings and editing weddings, I stopped watching wedding films for a while because I think you have to find your own way, and you can get really stuck in a trap if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. Sorry, I went on for a little bit there, but I feel very passionate about this subject because I've always been a bit of a rebel throughout school and throughout university. And when I was at uni, I would always have these lecturers stand up on stage and talk to me about what Alfred Hitchcock was doing, or what, the meaning behind Wizard of Oz really is. And I would say to them, sorry to say this, but this is just opinion. Like, this isn't fact. We don't know if Alfred Hitchcock put her in a green dress to make her look envious, or if it just looked good on camera. And so we all need to see cinema and see filmmaking in an artistic form, and in doing so, see the opportunities that are laid before us. Because if you just got tunnel vision of like, I want to be a wedding videographer and it has to look like this person's wedding film, and everything that they do, I have to do. So, for example, you want to be the type of wedding videographer that shoots everything on a tripod and everything on one lens and everything on one camera. It's like, okay, great, do that. Be inspired by these people. But then when you get to a wedding, does it actually work for you? And if it doesn't, and you feel like you want to do something else, then try it. And the same goes for people who want to buy all of the kit and have massive rigs for their weddings. Go for it. But if you get to the wedding day and it feels not right for you, it doesn't fit your personality, it exhausts you, then don't do it.
That's it. And I'm a testament to that. Like when we started, I was looking at kit, building different rigs, and be like having monitors, handles, shoulder pads at one point, all like loads of audio kit, and I was just finding myself getting stressed. I was finding myself just getting frustrated of just like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And it's like, because it doesn't work. You're at a wedding. It's a live event. You need to kind of fit the mold of a wedding with what you're bringing. It's like you can have all the ideas in the world at home and on paper, they're fine. But when it's a live event and you don't completely know what's happening, there needs to be that flexibility. And getting caught in the trap of trying to emulate other people will only go so far. You'll only just start getting frustrated, and it's like, why is this working for one person but not working for me?
Yeah.
And it's like, because you're not them and
Exactly.
they're not you. And it's hard to take in, because it's like, well, I don't know what to do. And it's like, it just takes time.
Yeah.
It really just does take time. And you end up settling to what does work with you. And you'll soon realize going, oh, this is working and I'm making my best work. Your first few films might be great. And it's like, yep, I've emulated them really well. I can do this, I can do that. And it's great fun. And then you'll find that it quickly gets stale. Or you'll start realizing I'm not having the stimulus that they have, because I'm not following their values, their whys, their like even their brain, just how their brain works isn't how your brain works. So you've just got to follow your own instincts and your own patterns and what works for you on a wedding day and before and after. So it takes training and it takes practice and experience, but you do just need to believe in yourself and follow your own instincts, and you'll quickly realize, oh, this is better. This is working now.
Yeah. And I cannot emphasize enough that there is no right or wrong. And, again, this is my opinion, so take it as you want, but there is no right or wrong. There is no right way of running a business, of sending out an email to your clients, of doing a video call, of how to turn up, how to dress. I mean, there are some wrongs to how to dress. Don't turn up looking scruffy, but you see people that turn up in Doc Martens and they're full of tattoos and pink hair. It's like, well, that works for them. That's them, that's their personality. And then the people who book them are going to take that. But then someone else who turns up in suits, heels, the full shebang, diamond earrings, well, that works for them and it works for their clientele. And you've got to be thinking about, do do you want to run a business like somebody else and emulate somebody else to a point where you're just losing yourself along the way?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to lose yourself in this business. You know, when you're in the exciting phase of starting out your business and you're choosing a name for yourself and you're choosing a certain style and you're imagining and visualizing yourself at all of these incredible weddings, that's the exciting bit. But then when you're suddenly looking at a diary of 20 weddings booked in and you're here, there, and everywhere, and you've got edits in the backlog, suddenly you realize that it really matters to book the right clients who want you and that you're doing things that feel intuitive and in flow with you. Because if you're suddenly sat in front of an edit, you've got 10 edits in the backlog, you're sat going, gosh, I've only got a few more days left before I send this off, and you're trying to emulate somebody else's editing style, you're massively holding yourself back. You have to sit down and edit the way that you edit. And if the way that someone on YouTube did it isn't working for you and you're getting your knickers in a twist, you've got to figure out another way of doing it. And also don't beat yourself up if it's going wrong. It's like, well, it might not be going well because this isn't the path for you. This isn't the way you should be doing it. And for me, as an example, when we started out in this industry, I really did want to use a bit more kit. I wanted to be the person that maybe used the gimbal or maybe had a shoulder rig. Like I did, because I came from the TV industry. I was working in studios and on sets with big cameras, big tripods. So to come into the wedding industry, especially as DSLR cameras just got smaller and smaller and smaller, I was like, oh, we need a monitor and we need this. And Jack was exactly the same. And then suddenly you find yourself 8 hours into a wedding day and your back's wrecking. And you have to ask yourself, what's going to be the best way of doing this for me?
Yeah.
Now,
is this worth it?
Exactly. And we've gone through a lot of different versions of our kit. We've gone from like really, really minimal kit to like taking maybe not stupid amounts of kit with us, but like a lot in the car and like bringing a lot of it back up. To now, Jack shoots a day completely pretty much on a gimbal.
Yep.
And I'm handheld all day, and I have a little wooden handle that I have on my camera.
Yep.
That's not so that we can be ninjas and to be discreet. It's what works for us and our bodies and our stamina. It isn't about, for us, it's never actually been about making the couple feel more comfortable. If we were more comfortable bringing a load of kit, we'd be bringing a load of kit to the weddings, and the couples would just reflect that. I think for us, it's just been a natural evolution that this is the setup that we've chosen for ourselves, and we know we can get through a wedding day without breaking our back with that kit.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say I've evolved. Yeah, I mean, it's only 2 cameras as well. We keep thinking about a third, but that was like backups. So it's like when we get to ceremony and speeches, we can have camera on the top table and then a reaction angle and then a third that could be roaming. But even that's still like questionable at times.
Because sometimes it feels like it's so easy to overshoot a wedding. Like, you know, especially when you're working with really large venues. Like these venues can become quite all-consuming, and you think to yourself, gosh, I need to have a camera on every single angle. But I don't know, at the end of the day, it's about what feels good for you. You know, we know solo shooters that bring 4 cameras to a wedding and they shoot on their own and have 4 cameras going during ceremonies and speeches. And if that works for them, then great. Like I don't get frustrated looking at social media and seeing that people are doing things different. The only thing that frustrates me is when people tell everyone they're doing it wrong. And you have to hear those messages and block them out, because really there really isn't a right or wrong way of doing it. And you know, if people go, oh well, you can't turn up with loads of kit for a wedding because it's going to upset the couple. Not every couple. There are plenty of couples that want you to bring the money. We've had that conversation with a few videographers where they say if you turn up with a little ditzy camera and you're just wearing a shirt and pants, they're going, where's all my money?
Yep.
If I'm paying you $5,000 to be at this wedding, Where's the cameras? Where's the
That's it. I want
setup?
big
Where's the
stuff.
microphones? I
Yeah.
want the big stuff. Why aren't you in a tux? Every single couple is different, and you have to be thinking about what level of wedding you want to be in. And I know that the term luxury gets thrown around. I don't know what luxury is. I don't know what luxury wedding videography is. I
Not
don't know if
anymore.
it's a price tag. I don't know if it's a certain look. I don't know if it's a certain style of wedding. I don't give a toss, to be honest, because a lot of people would say we're in the luxury market. And then there are plenty of weddings that we do that are definitely not in the luxury market. So I don't think that we're in the luxury market, but because we do a mixture of like high-end weddings, for example,
Quotation marks.
if you're watching on YouTube. For example, a footballer's wedding at Claridge's in the middle of London. We also shoot weddings where it's just two people from America that have come over to the Scottish Highlands and eloped in a castle.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a very wide range of weddings, and a wide range of couples, and every single couple is different. And I guess that's why we've been confident enough to make this podcast, call it Dare to Be Different, because we have experienced over the last 4 years such a wide range of expectations, prices for different things, different rigs, different photographers, different levels of everything.
Oh yeah, how many times have we turned up to a wedding where the photographer's style is completely different to ours?
Yeah.
And it's the couple's choice. Like most times when we get on a pre-wedding call, we'd be like, oh, so who's your photographer? And be like, oh, it's this person. We get them up on the screen and stuff like, oh yeah, they're amazing, but we realize, oh, they're very different to us. And they go, oh yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted a certain style for photo, and then we wanted the video to be completely different. So you don't even need to be matching the photographer. It's great that you can get along and work well with them, but it's not everything. You don't need to be matching with every wedding.
Yeah.
Because, your unique selling point is your own voice and your own style, and people will be looking for that. They might want something different.
Yeah.
So if you're just offering the same, you might actually be losing out.
Yeah. And this is it. I think everyone, including us, we've been, frightened of doing something different in case people don't like it.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly doing the same thing, you're never gonna know. And you're never gonna know if there's a better way for you. And we've talked a lot about kit today, but I would say that this also goes for your brand, the way that you show up on social media, the way that you dress at a wedding day, the way that you communicate with your couple, and the way that you connect with other suppliers. I honestly believe there isn't one way of doing things other than just don't be a dick. But there are plenty of people that use being a dick as their personality, and they also get loads of work.
Yeah, but it's more like, I think, don't be a dick in a arrogant or ignorant kind of way. And there's a quote that I told you, I think, last week, from actually Conan O'Brien, the old talk show host. And I think it was on his final episode of his big late night thing before he moved channels. It was like, if you want to succeed in life, all you need to do is be nice and work hard, and you'll go far.
Yeah.
And I think just be nice as in just connect to the people that you want to connect with. Don't go in assuming you're the biggest person in the room, smartest person in the room. Just be humble if you want. Like there is a element that you need to be confident. You need to be maybe a little arrogant of like, I've got something special to bring, but don't go in thinking you're the bee's knees, because you might not be. And it's like, just be humble, go in, be nice, talk to everybody around there, meet people, hear their story, and work hard.
This is it. And what I will say to that is, don't walk in thinking you're the bee's knees, because you are to some people and you're not to others. Again, coming back to that idea of like, we're all artists here. So, we meet people who look at our work and go, oh my God, oh, it's amazing. Your work's incredible. I'd love to be able to do that. We also come across people that watch our work and go, oh, it's like a movie trailer. And it's like, yes, it is. That's our whole thing.
That's us.
That's us.
Thanks, folks.
And thanks for your little narky comment, but we don't really care. because it's good to be Marmite. And, you know, especially as educators, it's, you know, being really transparent with you. It's being scary to come back into this world more because I know that we're going to get a lot of judgment. You know, when you put yourself on a pedestal for people to look at and look up to and learn from, we're also pinning ourselves in the firing line for people to go, oh, you're doing it wrong and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And for us, it's like, that's why we want to push this narrative of there is no right and there is no wrong. I'm not here telling you how to do things. We're just going to tell you how we do it, our experience of it. And if any of the bits and bobs that we're talking about feel good for you, awesome. If they don't feel good for you, leave it at the door. You know, I don't listen to a Jay Shetty podcast and go, everything this man says, I am going to take as fact and I'm going to go away and do it. You just going to feel what's good in your gut and go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, actually, that doesn't sound like me at all. And that's perfectly fine. And if we were all doing it the same, if we all did it like Justin Porter, if we all did it like Matt Johnson, if we all just followed everyone else exactly to a T, then none of us would be unique. None of us would be standing out. You have to do it your way. You have to dare to be different. You have to be bold. You have to be courageous. And you also have to be willing to get it very, very wrong. Because there have been days at weddings where I've been 2 hours in and going, my back is hurting.
Yeah.
I should not have done this rig. Or halfway through an edit, trying to do something a bit different and going, I wish I hadn't chosen this style because I am really struggling with this edit and I need to send it in 2 days.
Yeah. They're all learning points. Every failure
Yeah.
is a learning point. It's never a failure itself.
Exactly.
And if you can, fail fast. Like, just be open to failure.
Because you are going to fail.
Yeah, and you are. And if you go into it going, I don't want to fail, you'll never grow. You'll never learn how to do something different, be better, learn how to communicate, maybe in a portrait session better, maybe work with a planner better, or at all, if you want to.
Yeah, it's up to you. Again, because people say, like, oh, we want to work with planners. We want to work with planners. If you don't want to work with planners, that's also fine.
Yeah, it's not the be end all. It's just sometimes like the planner events, weddings, if you want to call it, they have a certain structure and maybe a certain approach. And it's like that works for videographers because they have the planner to communicate with and you become a team. Where if you just want to speak to the couple and have that relatability, do that too. That's fine.
I think the big takeaway for us throughout the years that we've had to keep reminding ourselves is this job, not wedding films, but filmmaking, it's meant to be fun. And if you're starting to not find it fun, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You have to find the joy. And if you're suddenly finding yourself in a slog and you're just doing the same old thing and you're doing the same thing for the prep and you're doing the same thing for the ceremony and you can feel that joy just slipping out of you, remind yourself, like, this is an art form. This is filmmaking. Spice it up. Do something different. Experiment. And, you know, I keep saying it and it feels really cringy now, but, you know, dare to be different. Stand out from the crowd and be bold. And sometimes it's just the courage to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And to step out of your comfort zone and just do it and give it a go. You know, a lot of the people, a lot of the videographers that you may follow and listen to on podcasts and go and watch at summits, they're only there because they tried something. You know, I'd imagine, not that I know his reasoning, but I'd imagine Matt Johnson one day, you know, woke up and went, I'm really passionate about this. I'm going to share this on YouTube. Imagine if he hadn't.
Imagine if he didn't enjoy YouTube.
Imagine if he didn't enjoy YouTube. You know, and no one else was on YouTube the way that Matt was on YouTube, sharing how to do the settings, how to set up the settings of your Sony camera.
But being passionate about weddings as well. So it's like, I'm going to make this education content for wedding videographers, 10 years ago? Where videography was only getting its kind of claws into what it is today. It was like, you know, people turned up with a Canon 5D Mark II that I think only shot at 1080p or maybe even 720p. And then Sony came out with the A7S, and he was like, "This is a cool camera. I'm going to tell people about it
Mm-hmm.
for weddings." And it's like nobody even knew what a wedding videographer was. They knew Uncle Bob with his handycam, which is now a trend. But
Yeah, I know.
that's
Yeah,
just how things are.
ironic.
And if he didn't believe in that, just purely because he enjoyed it, he wouldn't be where he was today.
Mm-hmm. But none of us would be where we are today, because I bet all of us at some point have watched one of his videos and he's got us out of some sticky situations.
Yep.
And the same can be said, for Justin Porter. If he hadn't come out and gone, you know what, I absolutely love the way that I capture weddings, and the way that he captures weddings is completely unique to anyone else that's sharing the way that he does it. Same for Ray Roman. Whether you like it or you don't, he has his way of doing things. Now, if Ray Roman was the kind of man who went, oh, well, really, I should only bring one camera and one lens because that's what everyone else does, Ray Roman wouldn't have the success that he has now.
Mm-hmm. Or Sculpture Me Time, if you want to throw names out there.
Mm-hmm.
Their editing style still is off the charts, and it's
Yeah.
like you still watch one of their films and go, how have they done that?
Yeah.
But it's so heavily edited and so cinematic that you still question, like, is this a wedding film?
Mm.
But we love it, so other people love it, and they're still one of the best in the world.
Yeah. But then a lot of people will say, but that's not a wedding film. Because we've had that.
Yeah.
We've had people say, well, that's not really a wedding film, is it? It's like,
exactly.
that's your opinion. Of course it's a wedding film. It's a bride and a groom getting married, saying vows, doing all of the normal stuff. So if it's a bride and groom exchanging vows and getting married, then of course it's a wedding film. So, especially in a world where content creators are now calling themselves wedding videographers, and any old person can pick up a camera and start shooting weddings, you have to find that thing that makes you different.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that feels good for you, what feels good in your stomach, in your intuition, you've got to go for it.
Yeah.
Even when you post and go, this is probably a bit much. I mean, even the way that we got kind of first found, in quotation marks, was I think we'd filmed one wedding in real life. This was during COVID. We did a load of style shoots.
Oh, Phoebe and
Jay, and we chose to organise our own. And it was just me and Jack in the middle of the Peak District, which is a national park in the UK full of mountains, and it's beautiful. And we took two climbers who we'd never met before, who were a couple, and we went, go climbing, but wear a wedding dress and a suit, and we're going to film it, and we're just going to see what magic happens. And we made this film of two people climbing on an old drone, and the drone footage now is like really grainy, and it was on an A7S2s. And we put this film out, and it put us on the map, because the majority of the industry went, that's not really a wedding film. And everyone else went, who on earth chooses to get two climbers to climb up a mountain in their wedding dress and shoot it when you've only shot one wedding?
Mm-hmm. And people are still talking about it.
And people still talk about it to this day. And we have an Iceland elopement booked in for next February in 2026, where we're going to be going ice climbing up a waterfall with a couple from Arizona. And skiing. I mean, we're not skiing with them because we don't ski, but like they're skiing in February in Iceland in the northern fjords, and then climbing up an ice waterfall. And they wanted us.
Yep.
There was no one else. They said to us, there is no one else who we want to film this wedding. We want you. And if we hadn't gone with our crazy idea in 2020 with no wedding experience and taken Phoebe and Jay up the mountain, where would we be now? I mean, that's a whole other conversation. We're also gonna do another episode about why it's important to maybe not niche yourself. But that's a whole other episode.
So many episodes.
There's so many episodes coming. Like, yeah, it's exciting. But I feel like I did overtake that episode. I'm very passionate about.
You are. We recorded another episode this morning. Went out for a little break, and we came up with this idea for the podcast. So we wanted to make sure that we could record it while the idea was still fresh in our brain, but it was Shannon's idea, so I was just here for moral support.
Moral support. Hey, I'm usually the one who's here for moral support while you're talking about microphones and recorders.
But there's a
But
lot
yeah.
to take in. But the general gist is only you are you. I don't want to sound like I'm going to be.
It's cliche,
It's
yeah.
a very cliche thing, but it is true. It's like you've got your own unique selling point. You just need to find it, and you find it by following your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
your gut knows, your brain knows, your heart knows if something doesn't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
and you just need to be brave enough to go, this isn't working. I need to find something else, and you find it by experimenting, or you might know straight off the bat. You might do it and go, no, this isn't it. I need to do it like this. So be confident, be you, and dare to be different.
Easter egg.
Thank you for my TED Talk. Thanks for coming.
Well, we hope there's been some nuggets of wisdom in there for you. If it was new, if all of this was new to you, then I'm excited for you to go out and experiment. If this wasn't new for you, hopefully this was just a nice reminder that just to keep going. It's been a nice reminder just for me and Jack to just be like, yes, we need to be different. We need to stop trying to be like everybody else. You know, you have to have that reminder of, it's scary. It's scary to go against the grain, but it's also, you reap the rewards, and the rewards are much greater for doing something different than being the same.
Absolutely. And there are people out there pushing just as much as you are.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to support you. If you want to speak to us about it, any more ideas that you might have, DM us. Catch us on Instagram on Forever Curious Films, or our new profile, Jack and Shannon _. Or go on our website and just give us an email. Like, we're here for you, so reach out.
Absolutely.
You're not alone. And if anything, we'll only encourage you to do the most stupid shit.
Alone. I'll be here with you. Yeah.
All right.
Is that a nice way of ending the episode?
We'll wrap it up there.
Little sing song at the end.
Well, thanks for listening on this episode, guys. We believe in you, and we know you can do it.
We believe in you.
Trust your gut, trust your heart. You'll be absolutely fine.
Well, that's another episode wrapped up for today. Who knows what we'll be talking about next week?
But thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Ciao.
Goodbye.